It's been a year since we sat beside one another when you were declared the winner of the Australian Open. Tell us about your year.
This year's been a pretty fun year actually. It's been a lot of challenges, but at the same time a lot of hurdles that, you know, if you want to reach the PGA Tour, you had to overcome, and to actually to make it to where I am right now in such a short period of time, it's been really cool. I've played a lot of good golf. I've improved a lot of things since last year. So everything, I think my bad golf's not as bad anymore, and my good golf is there a little bit more often. And I've really just played well at the right times at different points throughout the year, which has kind of just kept me moving forward. So it's been really fun. I'm looking forward to keeping it going.
And how's your game coming into this week? Are you confident?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy playing in the wind. I know this week's going to be really quite breezy, and it could be a really tough grind. But it's been a while since I've played in that sort of weather, and to be honest, it reminds me a lot of home. Obviously, this is home, but it reminds me of the golf that I had to grow up playing. So, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been playing okay. I've been shooting decent scores, and competing and doing all right, and making cuts out in the States. So, to bring that sort of form back over here, I don't feel like I'm, in any way disadvantaged at the moment with the way I'm swinging. I just need to, it's going to be a week of patience, and it's not target golf anymore this week. It's going to be really having to think your way around, and I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Great. Questions from the floor, please.
Cammy, you made a bit of a sacrifice on the PGA Tour in order to come down here. Can you tell me, does that reflect on how much this tournament means to you as an Aussie who grew up in Sydney?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've grown up my whole life watching this tournament, and to have an opportunity to play in it is, for a long time it was a dream come true, and now that I've got the chance to play in it more regularly, I feel like, I want to be able to take advantage of that. It means a lot to me especially with the tournament being here at home and I can stay in my own bed and all that, it means a lot to me. Obviously it was a difficult decision, but my first few events in the PGA Tour have been decent finishes, so it's actually kind of made me feel a little bit more comfortable about that decision. But regardless of how I went, it was going to be happening, and I was always going to come back home. So yeah, I would like to make that the way it always is. So at this point in time, this is the plan each year to come back. Yeah.
Henry?
Cam, you mentioned it's nice to have to think your way around the course here. I imagine some of the courses over in the US, they don't get you to think your way around as much as you might this week. Is that fair to say?
You get a good mix. There are some courses like last week in Mayakoba, usually it's designed for the wind, and there was no wind that week, so the course was pretty defenceless. And there have been a few out there that have been quite tricky as well. And you do get a very good mix. It's not all just target golf. You get some courses that are very firm and fast, and they're quite tricky, and the scores reflect that. But for the most part in the Web.com tour, it seemed like the scores were always low, and the reason that was because it was a little bit more straightforward than this course. This course has got a lot more going on, and the wind is always here. So you know what you're expecting before you even come in here. That it's going to be breezy, and you need to play a different style of golf. And I feel like this is the kind of golf that I had to play for most of my life. So hopefully it's a little bit easier to slip back into it.
Is that Monash when you say you're growing up? You're talking about playing at Monash or somewhere else?
Just in Sydney in general. I mean, most of the courses are not that far away from the ocean, so that's always a factor. But I've played a lot of golf in these courses in the city here, so this sort of feel I'm pretty used to. I've played out here, I would say, quite a few times. So I feel like I've got a pretty good feel for this place and what it's like in the wind. So, I feel like, I should at least sort of know what I'm doing around here when it comes to tomorrow.
Brent?
Hey, Cam, you mentioned some challenges this year and some sacrifice you had to make it on the PGA Tour. What was the biggest challenge? What was the biggest sacrifice you made this year?
Weren't really sacrifices were like not spending as much time with family and friends as I would have liked, but that's really as far as it goes. I mean, at this point in time, it's so early on, I haven't really had to make too many. Like, going to America is what I wanted to do, so I didn't feel like a sacrifice leaving home to go over there. It's more just been a really fun ride, and I really wouldn't have changed anything at this point in time, but the sacrifices have been I think pretty minimal. I mean, I've still been able to spend a lot of time with my girlfriend back home in Seattle as well, and being able to play in the States means that that's a little bit easier to do. But the biggest sacrifice would be, not seeing my family back here in Australia. But, I've made it back here and I'm going to spend the week with them, and that's going to be really nice. So, it's been a good 10 months, but, now I'm here, so it's all good.
Bruce?
Cameron, you kind of touched on it in the intro there, but when you look back over the last 12 months to your victory here, how much better a player do you feel you are now with the benefit of another 12 months as a pro behind you than you were 12 months ago?
I think when you win a golf tournament, I feel like you understand that all of a sudden winning a golf tournament isn't about playing perfect golf and having 4 rounds of golf going absolutely perfectly. It's just about managing it and not getting ahead of yourself, and those little things that kind of, over 4 days just save you shots as you go along. And, that made it easier to win. Another time, I've only won one tournament since then, but that's still a relatively big deal, I guess, when you win another tournament, especially in America, to make your life easier trying to get through the web.com tour and keep working your way up. But I think I've just gotten a little bit better at being patient about my rounds, just not feeling like you stand in the first tee on Thursday going, everything needs to be perfect for the whole week if I want to have a chance to win this tournament. It's a little bit more of a marathon. I feel like I'm just getting a little bit better at understanding that and being able to deal with that, and just making my bad days not quite as bad. Just little things like just your short game just being a couple of shots better around, or just hitting a few more fairways each round rather than, having a couple that find the hazard there, they're still on the fairway or still in play. So I'm finding it easier to, not have those blowout days and blow myself out of tournaments. I haven't really been in contention that often, but I feel like I'm making a lot of cuts, and that's pretty vital just to give yourself the opportunity to play on the weekend. And that's where I am right now. I'm not as sporadic anymore. I'm just a little bit more consistent. So I'm not shooting any better scores than I used to, but my bad scores are better. So yeah, I'm not having those 5, 6, 7 over days as regularly. And when you're playing on those tours, the cut's always under par. So you need to make sure your bad rounds are around par or better. And if you want to keep playing on the weekend, and yeah, I've been able to do that more often than not now. So that would be the main part that has really improved for me.
Patrick, please.
Cameron, you mentioned that the Australian Open, you cherished it as a tournament. Why was it such a difficult decision to return? It wasn't that difficult a decision, but what I would be missing out on is another opportunity to potentially win a golf tournament on the PGA Tour, which would cement everything or do really well and move yourself a long way up there. The FedEx Cup and the PGA Tour, it's like every week is a big deal. Every week you miss is 30 other people past you, and you're just a little bit further away from, you're not forced to have to do well, but you're just one tournament further away from being where you need to be. So missing out any event is a relatively big deal, but for this tournament, it didn't seem like it was too difficult a decision. But to come back and defend a tournament like this is especially important. So, it wasn't too tough for me. Sure, but we only have one Australian Open a year, don't we? So if there's particular tournaments in the US that are important, there's a fair few of them. But we only have one Australian Open, which players say, hand on heart, that they cherish and honour the tournament because of the past winners and what it would mean to them. It's interesting that some players find it difficult to get back, don't you think?
Well, a lot of them have families in America. It's an important time of year there's Thanksgiving is going on as well, and a lot of them have American families and kids, and this time of year they've got an opportunity to spend some time with families. So that's a big deal as well. So a lot of them have come over a lot. I mean, I know there are some guys that aren't here this week that are normally here, and to come as often as they do, especially with families in America, it's a big deal. So, I respect the decisions. I don't have any problem with them not coming over. Yeah, I mean, they've all got good reasons not to come because they do all love playing in front of a home crowd. It's just, they've got other things going on as well, and that those decisions are very difficult for them, and
sometimes they give that up to come and play, so that's a big deal as well. So, I understand it and I respect that. Yeah.
Hi, Cam. Can you talk to us a little bit about who's in your team in the background, so coaches and what you've been able to do this year on the PGA Tour and who's been travelling with you? Because I know it's a really important part of the process to have a great team behind you and support you, especially when you are away from your family here in Australia. And also, second part of the question is, what transitions have you had to make with your game this week to be able to change your ball flight, to bring your ball flight down a little bit in the wind to maybe what you play week in, week out on the PGA Tour, where you're flying the ball a little bit higher and longer?
Okay, so team-wise, first of all, my family and my friends. To keep you grounded and to, I really enjoy being not that far away from my girlfriend and her family. It's a very big deal to have a place that feels like home in America. I can imagine if you didn't, it would be quite a long time to spend away from loved ones. So I feel very lucky to have that as a base over there already, and to feel like, I've got a lot of people around me just being over there as it is. Also all the support I've got back here as well, but it's very important to have that over there. My caddy Andrew, he's been a very vital part of it. He's been a very good golfer himself, and it's been very good to have someone who knows how it all works and has been there before to help me with my decision making. And he's been really diligent. He's always out there early. He's always getting as much information as possible and then getting some more on top of that. He's been awesome, and he's been a really important part of it. Winning this tournament last year was the first time he caddied for me in a long time. It was the second tournament he caddied for me, and it was a year since he'd done it previously. And this is meant to be a warm-up event for tour school a couple of weeks later. And when he came over and obviously made things happen that hadn't been happening, and that was just through the course management, just working my way through a tournament with someone who really knows what they're doing. So that was very important. My coach Khan, he's come over at different points throughout the year. It's been very, very important to have someone that you trust with your game to come over, spend some time with you. We've tried to do it a little bit more regularly than last year. Every 2 months or so, we've had him come over, and also my physio, Matt Green. He's everything involved with the body and your golf swing. It's very hard to maintain on your own. So having those guys be able to come over at different points has been really important to me, being able to not just continue with the level of golf that I'm playing, but to try and keep getting better. And so everyone in there, Golf Australia, Golf New South Wales, for the support that they've given me leading up to this point and is still continuing. I just feel very comfortable. I've got a lot of really, really important people in my life, and very professional people around me that have, it's just been as comfortable a ride as I could have possibly imagined for this. I've felt like I haven't been out of my element too often. I've always had someone to turn to, and I've just got so many people in my team now that it's been really fun to share it with them all. But they've made it a very smooth ride for me. In terms of playing in the wind this week, there is wind in America. I won't say that it's all just it's not just all straightforward, no wind, sunny. They do follow the good weather. Not as much on the web.com as they do on the PGA Tour. You're in the same sort of places, but at different times of the year. So you do find some pretty rough weather weeks, but it's all about just taking an extra club or two and just swinging it smooth. You just need to keep it as simple as you possibly can. If the wind's off the left, you can't really fight it that much. You can do it a little bit, but you need to allow for it, and making sure you know which is the safer side. You're just playing a little bit more conservatively, and a good shot is different to a good shot when there's no wind. A good shot can be just on the green in general rather than near the pin. So, just being just a little bit smarter and just swinging a little bit smoother, because as soon as backspin's on the ball, it starts doing crazy things that, that's not what we want out here. We want to keep the ball nice and low, and the best way to do that is take an extra club and swing a little bit smoother and just grip down a little bit more. Yeah, that's all I'm changing. Yeah.
Adam, thank you.
Cam, just want to quickly ask, what was your biggest takeout out of your experience at your first major at the Open, and also next year? Are you realistically starting to plan around playing most of the majors next year? Or have an expectation about how many majors you want to play next year?
For the Open, I was surprised at how normal a tournament it became once you got inside the ropes. There was obviously a lot going on outside of the ropes. There were lots of people watching. I felt like I had a good experience of this tournament last year, so it didn't seem as new to me as it might have otherwise. But once you get going, you're playing with other golfers. You're just hitting the ball down the fairway. I felt it was actually a lot easier to slip into that mindset again than I would have thought. I thought it would have been really overwhelming. There would have been heaps going on, but to be honest, no, I felt pretty comfortable out there. It was a lot of fun. It was cool playing with some very, very big name players and seeing how they go about things. But to be honest, it just made me feel a bit more comfortable about myself. I felt like I can compete with these guys. It's just another golf course. It's a great golf course and it's a great tournament. But at the same time, once you're standing over the ball trying to hit it, my mind was able to get back to where it needs to be. And so I felt a lot more comfortable out there, and I played all right as well. So the confidence is there to, in a big stage like that, to still keep playing my game and keep doing all right. When it comes to playing in the majors, at this point in time, I'm not really in any of them. So I need to play some really good golf to play my way into them. So at this point in time, I'm just looking a couple events ahead just to see what I might have coming up on the PGA Tour. I might get 4 of the next 5 tournaments after this week. Due to the reshuffles, I'm going to be subject to them as we go. So the better I play, the more tournaments I get. If I play well enough to work my way into a major, I'll be happy and pleasantly surprised. But at this point in time, I can't plan on being at a major yet. I have to really work my way into it and have it as a pleasant surprise after playing really well. So right now, I'm just trying to make the most of every tournament I get into, and if one of them happens to be a major coming up, I'm going to be really excited about it. But yeah, I can't plan for a tournament that I'm not in yet. So yeah.
First time defending a tournament, how different a feel is it this week? And are you getting through your normal work, or are you struggling a little bit just having flown over from Mexico and doing things like pre-tournament presses that you wouldn't normally have to do?
Well, pre-tournament press, this is my first one, so there you go. But anytime you fly in on Tuesday, my usual preparation is trying to get in on Monday or Sunday night and just have that extra day to kind of work my way in, get used to whatever jet lag I might be dealing with, or just have a little bit more time to get used to the golf course. I'm lucky that I've played here before. I've played it quite a lot, so I know where everything is already. It's just a matter of getting used to the grass and playing in the wind again, and the greens and the speed of the place as well. But I would say if that wasn't the case, this would be probably not the best preparation. It would be too close to the tournament, and there'd be too much to try and fit in, because I'm lucky I'm playing in the Pro-Am, so I can see the whole golf course again. But if I wasn't in the Pro-Am, I would have only been able to see 9 holes yesterday and play in the other 9 blind, and that's not ideal. So I feel like I'm lucky that I know this place right now, but otherwise it would have been a tricky week. So I still feel just as confident going into tomorrow as I do normally, just because of the familiarity. But I try to avoid getting in too close to the first round. It can be tough. Yeah.
Bruce?
Cameron, just a quick one. Are you playing the Australian PGA, or are you going back to the US?
I'm playing the PGA as well.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Brent?
Hey Cam, obviously with Tiger Woods seemingly back from the dead, do you lick your lips at the prospect of going head to head with him at some point down the track?
Yeah, I've always wanted to have a round. I want to see what it's like, how he plays. I want to see what it's like playing with him. I've heard the atmosphere around the group, around his group at tournaments, is just unlike anything else. So that's definitely an aim, is to try and work my way up to the point where I can get paired with him at some point before he's done. But I think he's still going to be around for quite a while, and hopefully I've got plenty of opportunities to make that happen. But that's something I've always, ever since I started playing, and ever since I was able to understand that he was the best player out there, that I've always wanted to have a round with him. Yeah.
Is that it, ladies and gentlemen? Well, thank you for coming in your first pre-tournament interview. We've loved it, and we hope that you're in again. We hope you're in Sunday afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank